Maharaj Shri Gurudev ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Parashatarashatashmar Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Par Ashatarashatashmar Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Par Ashatarashatashmar Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Par Ashatarashatashmar Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Śrīla Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Shri Rupa No Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Pata Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patadash Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishya Bharati Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki jai. Shri Mona Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. And Nitil Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatarashvatashmat Shila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Gurudev Vyas Puja Adivastiti ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Vo. Hari Vo Rase Shri Mataji and Dandavat Pranams Indira Mataji. All right, so yeah, tomorrow, I think for many people in the West today, America at least, today is, or no, never mind. I forgot. It's still nighttime there. I think it's one day early though in many places in the West. One day earlier than it is in India. My Gurudev's Yas Puja. And I don't know what we'll do tomorrow, because I might be at a program at Rup Sanatan tomorrow. I might just, yeah, so we'll see what happens. Okay. So we heard all this. I'll just go through it quickly though. Oops. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so we read about the 5th and 6th Manvantars. Then Parikshit inquires, he eagerly asks about the purpose of the churning the milk ocean and the Lord's form of Kurma. So due to Durvasa Muni's curse, the demigods became weak and they got affected by the demons. They all approached Lord Brahma. Then Lord Brahma induced the demigods to take shelter of Lord Viṣṇu. And then Lord Brahma offers prayers unto the Supreme Lord, unto Lord Viṣṇu. Describes the various attributes of the Supreme Lord, the Lord's universal form, the glory of worshipping Lord Viṣṇu. And then, by his prayers, the Lord appeared with the effulgence of thousands of rising suns. Then Lord Brahma offered prayers to the Lord after the Lord's darshan. He said, "You are inconceivable, worshipable, the beginning, the middle, and end of everything, uncontaminated, and you are only attainable by bhakti. We all became happy by seeing you. We know our purpose. Please show us this solution." Then Lord Viṣṇu, he instructed them to churn the milk ocean. Although the Lord was capable of helping the demigods himself, he wanted to enjoy the pastimes of churning the milk ocean. Then Viṣṇu gave a plan. Make a truce with the demons, and along with them, churn the milk ocean to produce nectar. Be patient and give up fear, greed, and pride. The demigods approached Bali, and the demigods approached Bali, and the demons agreed with the proposal for the churning of the milk ocean, Samudra Manthan. The demigods and demons together tried to bring Mandara mountain to the milk ocean, but they couldn't carry it. So Lord Viṣṇu appeared on Garuda and helped them. Alright, and so now we begin. Now Lord Śiva saves the universe by drinking poison. But 1 second before we start, let's do the Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Viṣṇu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Vedanta Narayaniti Namine. Nama Om Viṣṇu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam panebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahavadanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna chaitanya namne gauratishe namaha. Guruve gaurachandraya radhikaya tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yam Pravrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Tvaipayano Virahakatara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhinedustang Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. Narayanam Namaskrityam Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Shrinvatang Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridantasto Hyabadrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam Nashta Prayeshvavadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Shtaki Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigya Radhe Tvam Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptastakama Ditaranga Madhe Kripamai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanai Ravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And Dandavat Pranams, Ganga Didi, Yash Ji, Gargara Ji, Madhavi Didi, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantaramurti Mataji. Oh cool, he gave Sunday Feast lecture on Prajapati Daksha. Cool. Alright, so we just heard a recap of the previous two chapters. And now we'll begin the 7th chapter. Lord Śiva saves the universe by drinking poison. The summary of the 7th chapter is as follows. Oh, one second. Is the sound okay? Let me make sure. Yeah, Indira, you also let me know, because actually Indira Mataji and Rup Manjari told me that the sound was not so good, and so then I changed the settings here on the app, mic app. I think it might be better now. Anyways, Dandavat Pranams Janardhan Prabhu, and Rup Manjari, she's in the program right now for my Gurudev, and so she'll probably watch in a couple days. Alright. Lord Shiva saves the universe by drinking poison. The summary of the 7th chapter is as follows. As described in this chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing in his incarnation as a tortoise, dove deep into the ocean to carry the Mandara mountain on his back. At first, the churning of the ocean produced Kalakuta poison. Everyone feared this poison, but Lord Shiva satisfied them by drinking it. With the understanding that when the nectar was generated from the churning, share it equally, the demigods and the demons brought Vasuki to be used as the rope for churning the rod. By the expert arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demons held the snake near the mouth, whereas the demigods held the tail of the great snake. Then, with great endeavor, they began pulling the snake in both directions. Because the churning rod, Mandara mountain, was very heavy and was not held by any support in the water, it sank into the ocean, and in this way the prowess of both the demons and the demigods was vanquished. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then appeared in the form of a tortoise and supported the Mandara mountain on his back. Then the churning resumed with great force. As a result of the churning, a huge amount of poison was produced. The Prajapatis, seeing no one else to save them, approached Lord Shiva and offered him prayers of truth. Lord Shiva is called Ashutosh because he is very pleased if one is a devotee. Therefore, he easily agreed to drink all the poison generated by the churning. The goddess Durga Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, was not at all disturbed when Lord Shiva agreed to drink the poison, for she knew Shiva's prowess. Indeed, she expressed her pleasure at this agreement. Then Lord Shiva gathered the devastating poison, which was everywhere. He took it in his hand and drank it. After he drank the poison, his neck became bluish. A small quantity of the poison dropped from his hands to the ground, and it is because of this poison that there are poisonous snakes, scorpions, toxic plants, and other poisonous things in this world. Yikes. Okay, so I'm just curious, how many verses are we reading today? We're reading up to 31. Wow, a lot of verses. Shri Shuka Uvacha Te Naga Rajana Mantrya Phala Bhagena Vasukam Parivya Giro Tasmin Netramabdhim Mudandvita Arebhire Surayata Amritarte Kurudvaha. One second, let me just send this message to Chaitanya Maharaj. Sorry, guys. Okay. Shukadev Goswami said, O best of the Kurus, Maharaj Parikshit, the demigods and demons, summoned Vasuki, king of the serpents, requesting him to come and promising to give him a share of the nectar. They coiled Vasuki around Samudra Mountain as a churning rope, and with great pleasure they endeavored to produce nectar by churning the ocean. Haripurastajagrihe purvam devastato bhavan. The personality of Godhead Ajita grasped the front portion of the snake, and then the demigods followed. Tannaichan daitapatayo mahapurushucheshtitam nagrinimo vayam pucham aherangam amangalam swadhyaya shrutasana prakhyata janma karmabhi. The leaders of the demons thought it unwise to hold the tail, the inauspicious portion of the snake. Instead, they wanted to hold the front, which had been taken by the personality of Godhead and the demigods, because that portion was auspicious and glorious. Thus the demons, on the plea that they were all highly advanced students of Vedic knowledge and were all famous for their birth and activities, protested that they wanted to hold the front of the snake. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The demons thought that the front of the snake was auspicious, and that catching hold of that portion would be more chivalrous. Moreover, Daitas must always do the opposite of the demigods. That is their nature. We have actually seen this in relation to our Krishna consciousness movement. We are advocating cow protection and encouraging people to drink more milk and eat palatable preparations made of milk. But the demons, just to protest such proposals, are claiming that they are advanced in scientific knowledge as described here by the words Svadhyaya Shruta Sampanna. They say that according to their scientific way, they have discovered that milk is dangerous and that the beef attained by killing cows is very nutritious. This difference of opinion will always continue. Indeed, it has existed since days of yore. Millions of years ago, there was the same competition. The demons, as a result of their so-called Vedic study, preferred to hold the side of the snake near the mouth. The Supreme Personality of Godhead thought it wise to catch hold of the dangerous part of the snake and allow the demons to hold the tail, which was not dangerous. But because of a competitive desire, the demons thought it wise to hold the snake near the mouth. If the demigods were going to drink the poison, the demons would resolve, why should we not share the poison and die glorious by drinking it? In regard to the words Svadhyaya Shruta Sampanna Prakhyata Janma Karmabhi, another question may be raised. If one is actually educated in Vedic knowledge, is famous for performing prescribed activities, and has been born in a great aristocratic family, why should he be called a demon? The answer is that one may be a highly educated and may have been born in an aristocratic family. But if he is godless, if he does not listen to the instructions of God, then he is a demon. There are many examples in history of men like Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, and Kamsa, who are all well educated, but were born in aristocratic families and who were very powerful and chivalrous in fighting, but who, because of deriding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, were called Rakshasas, or demons. One may be very well educated, but if he has no sense of Krishna consciousness, no obedience to the Supreme Lord, he is a demon. That is described by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 7:15. Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradhama mayaya pahrita jnana asuram bhavam ashrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Asuram bhavam refers to not accepting the existence of God or the transcendental instructions of the personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Gita clearly consists of transcendental instructions imparted directly by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But asuras, instead of accepting these instructions directly, make commentaries according to their own whimsical ways and mislead everyone, without profit even for themselves. One should therefore be very careful of demoniac, godless persons. According to the words of Lord Krishna, even if a godless demon is very well educated, he must be considered a muda, naradhama, and mayaya pahrita jnana. Iti tushnim stitam daityan vilokya purushottama smayamano visirigyagram pucham jagraha samara. Thus the demons remained silent, opposing the desire of the demigods. Seeing the demons and understanding their motive, the Supreme Personality of Godhead smiled. Without discussion, he immediately accepted the proposal by grasping the tail of the snake, and the demigods followed him. Kritastana vibhaghaschatta evam kashyapanandana mamantu paramang yatta amritartam payonidim. After thus adjusting how the snake was to be held, the sons of Kashyapa, both demigods and demons, began their activities, desiring to get nectar by churning the ocean of milk. Matyamaner nave sodrir anadharo hyapo vishat driyamano pibali bhir gauravat pandunandana. O son of the Pandu dynasty, when Mandara mountain was thus being used as a churning rod in the ocean of milk, it had no support, and therefore, although held by the strong hands of the demigods and demons, it sank into the water. Te sunirvinna manasa parimlana mukashriya asansva porushe nashte daivenati baliyasa. Because the mountain had been sunk by the strength of providence, the demigods and demons were disappointed. Their faces seemed to shrivel. Vilokya vignesha vidim tadeshvaro durantaviryo vitata bhisandihi kritva vapukachapam arbhutam mahat pravishyatoyam girim ujahara. Seeing the situation that had been created by the will of the Supreme, the unlimitedly powerful Lord, whose determination is infallible, took the wonderful shape of a tortoise, entered the water, and lifted the great Mandara mountain. Purport. Here is evidence that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the supreme controller of everything. As we have previously described, there are two classes of men, the demons and the demigods, but neither of them are supremely powerful. Everyone has experienced that hindrances are imposed upon us by the supreme power. The demons regard these hindrances as mere accidents or chance, but devotees accept them to be acts of the supreme ruler. When faced with hindrances, therefore, devotees pray to the Lord. Tatenu kampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. Devotees endure hindrances, accepting them to be caused by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and regarding them as benedictions. Demons, however, being unable to understand the Supreme Controller, regard such hindrances as accidental. Here, of course, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present personally. It was by His will that there were hindrances, and by His will those hindrances were removed. The Lord appeared as a tortoise to support the great mountain. The Lord held the great mountain on His back. Keshavadritta kurma sharira jai jagadisha hare. Dangers can be created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they can also be removed by Him. This is known to devotees, but demons cannot understand it. Tam uttitang viksha kulachalam puna samudhyata nirmatitum surasura dadhara prishtena salakshayojana prastarina dvipa iva paro mahan. When the demigods and demons saw that Mandara mountain had been lifted, they were enlivened and encouraged to begin churning again. The mountain rested on the back of the great tortoise, which extended for 800,000 miles like a large island. Sura surendrer bhujavirya vepitam paribhramantam girimanga prishtata bibhratara vartanamadikachapo menenga kandu yanama menenga kandu yanam aprameyaha. O king, when the demigods and demons, by the strength of their arms, rotated Mandara mountain on the back of the extraordinary tortoise, the tortoise accepted the rolling of the mountain as a means of scratching his body, and thus felt a pleasing sensation. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always the Unlimited. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his body as a tortoise, held on his back the largest of mountains, Mandara Parvat, he did not feel any inconvenience. On the contrary, he apparently felt some itching, and thus the rotation of the mountain was certainly very pleasing. Tatasuran avisharasurena rupena teshang balaviryam irayan udipayan deva ganangscha Viṣṇur taivena nagendram abodarupaha. Thereafter, Lord Viṣṇu entered the demons as the quality of passion, the demigods as the quality of goodness, and Vasuki as the quality of ignorance, to encourage them and increase their various types of strength and energy. Purport. Everyone in this material world is under the different modes of material nature. There are 3 different parties in the churning of the Mandara mountain: the demigods, who are in the mode of goodness, the demons, who are in the mode of passion, and the snake Vasuki, who is in the mode of ignorance. Since they were all becoming tired, Vasuki so much so that he was almost going to die, Lord Viṣṇu, to encourage them to continue the work of churning the ocean, entered into them according to the respective modes of nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Yeah, poor Vasuki, my God. Aparyagendram girirad aivanya akramya hastena sahasrabahu tasto divi brahma bhavendra mukhyar abhishtuvarbhi sumano bivrishtaha. Manifesting himself with thousands of hands, the Lord then appeared on the summit of Mandara mountain like another great mountain. The Lord appeared on the summit of Mandara mountain like another great mountain, and held Mandara mountain with one hand. And the upper planetary systems, Lord Brahma and Lord Śiva, along with Indra, the king of heaven, and other demigods, offered prayers to the Lord and showered flowers upon him. Purport. To balance Mandara mountain while it was being pulled from both sides, the Lord himself appeared on its summit like another great mountain. Lord Brahma, Lord Śiva, and King Indra then expanded themselves and showered flowers on the Lord. Uparyadhaschatmani gotra netrayo parena te pravishata samedhita mamanturabdim tarasa madotkata mahadrinaksho bhitanakra chakram. The demigods and demons worked almost madly for the nectar, encouraged by the Lord, who is above and below the mountain, and who had entered the demigods, the demons, Vasuki, the mountain, and the mountain itself. Because of the strength of the demigods and demons, the ocean of milk was so powerfully agitated that all the alligators in the water were very much perturbed. Nonetheless, the churning of the ocean continued in this way. Ahindra sahasra katora dringmukha Shvasagni dumahata varchaso sura Polo makaleya balil valadayo Tavagni dagdaha Tavagni dagdaha sarala iva bhavan. Vasuki had thousands of eyes and mouths. From his mouths he breathed smoke and blazing fire, which affected the demons, headed by Paloma, Kaleya, Bali, and Ilvala. Thus the demons, who appeared like sarala trees, burned by a forest fire. Thus the demons, who appeared like sarala trees burned by a forest fire, gradually became powerless. Devangschatachvasa Shikahata Prabhan Dumrambara Sragvarakanchukananan Samabhyavarshan Bhagavad Ghana Vavo Samudror Mupagudavayavaha. Because the demigods were also affected by the blazing breath of Vasuki, their bodily lusters diminished, and their garments, garlands, weapons, and faces were blackened by smoke. However, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, clouds appeared on the sea, pouring torrents of rain, and breezes blew, carrying particles of water from the sea waves to give the demigods relief. Matyamanat tata sindor devasura varutapai yada sudha najayeta nirmamanta jita swayam. When nectar did not come from the ocean of, despite so much endeavor by the best of the demigods and demons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ajita, personally began to churn the ocean. I don't know how to sing this. Megha Shama Kanaka Paridhi Karna Vidyota Vidyun Murdhni Brajad Vilulita Kachasragdhara Rakta Netra Jatrar Adorbir Jagarabhayadar Dandashukam Grihitva Madhnan Matana Pratigirir Ivasho Bhatato Dritadri. The Lord appeared like a blackish cloud. He was dressed with yellow garments. His earrings shone on his ears like lightning, and his hair spread over his shoulders. He wore a garland of flowers, and his eyes were pinkish. With his strong, glorious arms, which award fearlessness throughout the universe, he took hold of Vasuki and began churning the ocean, using Mandara mountain as a churning rod. When engaged in this way, the Lord appeared like a beautifully situated mountain named Indranil. Nirmantamanar Udadhirabhur Visham Maholbanam Hālāhala Vaham Grataha Sampranta Mino Makarahi Kachapat Temi Dipagraha Timingilakulat. The fish, sharks, tortoises, and snakes were most agitated and perturbed. The entire ocean became turbulent, and even large aquatic animals like whales, water elephant, crocodiles, and timingila fish, large whales that can swallow small whales, they came to the surface. While the ocean was being churned in this way, it first produced a fiercely dangerous poison called Hālāhala. Tad ugravegam dishuparyado Visarpadut sarpad asahyamaprati Bhita prajadu dudruvur angasheshvara Arakshamana sharanam sadashivam. O king, when that uncontrollable poison was forcefully spreading up and down in all directions, all the demigods, along with the Lord himself, approached Lord Shiva, Sadashiva. Feeling unsheltered and very much afraid, they sought shelter of him. Purport. One may question that since the Supreme Personality of Godhead was personally present, why did he accompany all the demigods and people in general to take shelter of Lord Sadashiv instead of intervening himself? In this connection, Srila Madhvacharya warns, Rudrasya yashaso Rtaya Swayam Vishnur Visham Vibhu Nasanjagre Samarthopi Vayam Choche Prashantaye. Sorry, guys. Lord Viṣṇu was competent to rectify the situation, but in order to give credit to Lord Shiva, who later drank all the poison and kept it in his neck, Lord Viṣṇu did not take action. Sadashiv? Is it really Sadashiv? Huh. Interesting. Okay, one second. Let me just drink some water. I was thinking he was referring to Shambhu. Vilokyatang deva varang trilokya bhavaya devya bhimatang muninam asinam adrav apavarga hetos tapo jushanam stutibi pranemuhu. The demigods observed the Lord Shiva sitting on the summit of Kailas hill with his wife, Bhavani, for the auspicious development of the three worlds. He was being worshipped by great saintly persons desiring liberation. The demigods offered him their obeisances and prayers with great respect. Shri Prajapataya Uchuhu Deva Deva Mahadeva Bhutatman Bhuta Bhavana Drahina Sharanapanangs Trailokya Dahanad Vishat. The Prajapati said, O greatest of all demigods, Mahadev, supersoul of all living entities and cause of their happiness and prosperity, we have come to the shelter of your lotus feet. Now please save us from this fiery poison which is spreading all over the three worlds. Purport. Since Lord Shiva is in charge of annihilation, why should he be approached for protection, which is given by Lord Viṣṇu? Lord Brahma creates, Lord Viṣṇu and Lord Shiva annihilates. But both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are incarnations of Lord Viṣṇu and are known as Shaktavish avatars. They are endowed with a special power like that of Lord Viṣṇu, who is actually all-pervading in their activities. Therefore, whenever prayers for protection are offered to Lord Shiva, actually Lord Viṣṇu is indicated, for otherwise Lord Shiva is meant for destruction. Lord Shiva is one of the Ishvaras, or controllers, are the controllers known as Shaktavish avatars. Therefore, he can be addressed as having the qualities of Lord Viṣṇu. Tam ekah sarva jagata ishvaro bandha mokshayo tang tam archanti kushala prapannarti haram gurum. O Lord, you are the cause of bondage and liberation of the entire universe because you are its ruler. Those who are advanced in spiritual consciousness and surrender unto you, and therefore, those who are advanced in spiritual consciousness surrender unto you, and therefore you are the cause of mitigating their distress, and you are also the cause of their liberation. We therefore worship your lordship. Purport. Actually, Lord Viṣṇu maintains and accomplishes all good fortune. If one has to take shelter of Lord Viṣṇu, why should demigods take shelter of Lord Shiva? They did so because Lord Viṣṇu acts through Lord Shiva in the creation of the material world. Lord Shiva acts on behalf of Lord Viṣṇu. When the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 14.4 that He is the father of all living entities, Aham Bija Pradapita, this refers to actions performed by Lord Viṣṇu through Lord Śiva. Lord Viṣṇu is always unattached to material activities, and when material activities are to be performed, Lord Viṣṇu performs them through Lord Śiva. Lord Śiva is therefore worshipped on the level of Lord Viṣṇu. When Lord Viṣṇu is untouched by the external energy, He is Lord Viṣṇu. But when He is touched with the external energy, He appears in His feature as Lord Śiva. Gunamaya swashakta shaktyasya sargastityapayan vibho datse yada sadrig bhuman Brahma Viṣṇu Shiva Bhidham. O Lord, you are self-effulgent and supreme. You create this material world by your personal energy, and you assume the names Brahma, Viṣṇu, and Maheshwar when you act in creation, maintenance, and annihilation. Purport. This prayer is actually offered to Lord Viṣṇu, the Purusha, who in his incarnations as the Guna avatars assumes the names Brahma, Viṣṇu, and Maheshwar. Tvang Brahma Paramam Guhyam Sarasar Bhava Bhavanam Nana Shakti Bhirabhatas Tvam Atma Jagadishvaraha. You are the cause of all causes, the self-effulgent, inconceivable, impersonal Brahman, which is originally Parabrahman. You manifest various potencies in this cosmic manifestation. Purport. This prayer is offered to the impersonal Brahman, which consists of the effulgent rays of Parabrahman. Parabrahman is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parang Brahma Parang Dhama Pavitram Paramang Bhavan. When Lord Śiva is worshipped as Parabrahman, the worship is meant for Lord Viṣṇu. Tvam Shabda Yonir Jagad Adiratma Pranendriya Dravya Guna Sabhavaha Kalaha Kratahu Swayam Ritam Chadharmas Tvai Akarsham Yat Trivridat Amananti. O Lord, you are the original source of Vedic literature. You are the original cause of material creation, the life force, the senses, the 5 elements, the 3 modes, and the Mahat Tattva. You are eternal time, determination, and the 2 religious systems called truth, Satya, and truthfulness, Rita. You are the shelter of the syllable Om, which consists of the 3 letters A, U, Ma. Agnir Mukam Te Kila Devatatma Kshiptim Vidur Loka Bhavangri Pankajan Kalam Gatim Te Kila Devatatmano Tishascha Karno Rasanang Jalesham. O Father of all planets, learned scholars know that fire is your mouth, the surface of the globe is your lotus feet, your eternal time is your movement, all the directions are your ears, and Varuna, master of the waters, is your tongue. Purport. In the Shruti mantras it is said, Agni Sarva Devataha. Fire is the aggregate of all demigods. Agni is the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is through Agni, or fire, that the Lord accepts all sacrificial oblations. Nabhir nabaste shvasanang nabhasvan suryascha chakshungshi jalam smaretaha paravaratma shrayanam tavatma somo manodyor bhagavan shiraste. O Lord, the sky is your navel, the air is your breathing, the sun is your eyes, and the water is your semen. You are the shelter of all kinds of living entities, high and low. The god of the moon is your mind, and the upper planetary system is your head. Kukshihi samudra girayosti sangha romani sarvo shadivirudaste chandangsi shakshat tava saptadhatavas trayi mayatman hridayam sarva dharmaha. O Lord, you are the three Vedas personified. The seven seas are your abdomen, and the mountains are your bones. All drugs, creepers, and vegetables are the hairs on your body. The Vedic mantras, like Gayatri, are the 7 layers of your body, and the Vedic religious system is the core of your heart. Mukhani panchapanishadastavesha yaistring shadashtottara mantra vargaha yattachivakyam paramatma tattvam deva swayam jyotir avastitiste. O Lord, the 5 important Vedic mantras are represented by your 5 faces, from which the 38 most celebrated Vedic mantras have been generated. Your lordship, being celebrated as Lord Śiva, is self-illuminated. You are directly situated as the supreme truth known as Paramatma. Purport. The 5 mantras mentioned in this connection are as follows. 1. Purusha, Aghora, Sadyojata, Vamadeva, and Ishana. These 5 mantras are within the category of the 38 special Vedic mantras chanted by Lord Śiva, who is therefore celebrated as Shiva or Mahadev. Another reason why Lord Śiva is called Shiva, which means all auspicious, is that he is self-illuminated, exactly like Lord Viṣṇu, who is the Paramatma. Because Lord Śiva is directly an incarnation of Lord Viṣṇu, he is situated as Lord Vishnu's direct representative. This fact is corroborated by a Vedic mantra, Patim Vishvasyatmashvaram Shashvatam, Shivam Achutam. The supersoul is called by many names, of which Maheshwar, Shiva, and Achyuta are especially mentioned. Chayatadharmor mishuyar visargo netratrayam sattva rajastamangsi sakyatmana shastra kritastaveksha chando mayo deva rishi puranaha. O Lord, your shadow is seen in irreligion, which brings about varieties of irreligious creations. The three modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are your 3 eyes. All the Vedic literatures, which are full of verses, are emanations from you because their compilers wrote various scriptures after receiving your glance. Natagiri trakila lokapala virincha vaikunta surendra gamyam jyotihi parang yatra rajastamascha sattvam nayad brahma nirastabhedam. O Lord Girisha, since the impersonal Brahman effulgence is transcendental to the material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, the various directors of this material world certainly cannot appreciate it or even know where it is. It is not understandable even to Lord Brahma, Lord Viṣṇu, or the King of Heaven, Mahendra. Purport. The Brahma Jyoti is actually the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as stated in Brahma Samhita 540. Yasya prabhavato jagaranda koti kotishvashesha vasudhadi vibhuti bhinnam tad brahma nishkalamanantam ashesha bhutam govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is endowed with great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman, which is absolute, complete, and unlimited, and which displays the varieties of countless planets with their different opulences in millions and millions of universes. Although the impersonal feature of the Absolute is the expansion of the rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he does not need to take care of the impersonalists who enter the Brahmajyoti. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9.4, Maya tatam idang sarvam jagad avyakta murtina. In my impersonal feature, I pervade this entire universe. Thus, the avyakta murti, the impersonal feature, is certainly an expansion of Krishna's energy. Mayavadis who prefer to merge into this Brahman effulgence worship Lord Shiva. The mantras referred to in text 29 are called Mukhani Panchupanishadas. Mayavadis take all these mantras seriously in worshipping Lord Shiva. These mantras are as follows. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's a lot. One, I'm not going to say the numbers, I'm just going to say the things. Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Shantyai Mahadevaya Dhimahi Vidyai Tan Rudra Pratishtayai Prachodayat Dhrityai Aghorebhyastama Ataghorebhyo Moha Aghorebhyo Raksha Aghorattarebhyo Nidra Sarvebhya Sarvavyadhyai Sarva Sarvebhyo Mrityave Namaste Stu Kshudha Rudra Rupebhyas Trishna Vama Devaya Raja Jeshtaya Svaha Shishtaya Ritrai Rudraya Kalyanyai Kalaya Kama Kala Vikaranaya Sandhinyai Bala Vikaranaya Kriya Balaya Vridyai Balachaya Pramathanaya Dhatrai Sarvabhuta Damanaya Brahmanyai, sorry guys. Mana Shoshinyai Unmanaya Dwara Sadyo Jatam Prapadyami Siddhyai Sadyo Jataya Vai Nama Ridyai Bhave Dityai Abhave Lakshmai Nati Bhave Medha Bhajasva Mam Kantyai Bhava Swadha Udbhavaya Prabha Ishana Sarvavidyanam Shashinyai Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Abhayada Brahma Dipatir Brahmano Dipatir Brahman Brahmeshta Dha Shiva Me Asto Marichai Sada Shiva Dvalanyai. The impersonal Brahman is unknown even to the other directors of the material creation, including Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, and even Lord Viṣṇu. This does not mean, however, that Lord Viṣṇu is not omniscient. Lord Viṣṇu is omniscient, but he does not need to understand what is going on in his all-pervading expansion. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that although everything is an expansion of him, mayam tatam idang sarvam, he does not need to take care of anything. Na chaham tveshavastitaha. Since he does not need to take care of anything, since there are various directors like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Indra. Are we stopping with that verse? Yes, we are. All right, that's our reading for today. And then we're going to, I'm not going to read tomorrow because it's, my Vyas Puja day, my Guru Dev, but we'll continue the day after tomorrow. And I'll read the full recap of this in here the day after tomorrow. But so the day after tomorrow, we'll conclude the demigods' prayers to Lord Shiva. Then Lord Shiva seeks Bhavani's permission, like a good husband. And then we'll read the glories of Lord Shiva. And then after that, the day after tomorrow, we'll also begin the 8th chapter, the different products of the Samudra Manthan. That's really interesting. And then the appearance and marriage of Lakshmi Devi. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhar Vikagiri Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai, Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupad Ashtar Shatashmar Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Srila Guru Dev ki jai, Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupad Ashtar Shatashmar Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai, Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupad Ashtar Shatashmar Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupad Ashtar Shatashmar Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai, Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupad Shatara Shatashmar Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai, Nitil Pavishta Maha-Bhagavat Srila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Nitil Pavishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, Nitil Pavishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dashagunath Shar Gosai Prabhu ki jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai, Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund ki jai, Shri Muna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai, Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams everybody. So I'll see you all again the day after tomorrow. Hari Bol, everybody. Dandavat pranams Champak Didi and Karunamrita Didi. Hari Bol.